did it again. So when I work out in my swimming pool, there's it's kind of a kidney shape, kind of, sort of, but it's got a rounded end, and I jog in the water with my water shoes on, and I go in circles. And I have my timer on, and I'll run for about 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and I turn around and I go in the other direction. So yesterday morning when I was doing my water running, there were quite a few leaves in the pool. And I noticed as I was running that the leaves started to come up from the bottom. And some of them followed me around in my wake as I'm doing my circuit. Some things came up and would come in front of me. It was interesting. Some of the leaves just kind of hovered at the bottom. And maybe when I switched directions, they would start to rise up and come into my view, or come up right into my face, or one would come into my hand as I was going around. And because I love water so much, I get pretty hypnotized when I'm in the water, and it all becomes like this cosmic kind of experience when I'm in the water. But there's always some kind of lesson for me when I do that. There always is. There's always some kind of message that comes out of my time in the water. So I'm just watching the leaves, and there are also, whenever I get in the pool, there are wasps that have a nest somewhere. I don't know where the nest is, but they always come out when I get in the pool. Always. And I was noticing yesterday morning that they showed up. At first I didn't notice them. And then I saw one come down, and they always come when I come around. They always come right where I'm going to be. And then they land on the side, and they kind of hover under the edge, and they stay there. And I thought, this time, I'm not going to engage with the wasp, because usually I'm throwing water, and I'm like, get out, I'm trying to swim. Get out of my way, you're disturbing my peace. I'm trying to do my thing, and I'm swatting around and still going around in the pool and doing my thing, and water's all over the place. Every time I see him, I'm hurling water again. And this time I thought, I'm just going to do my thing. I'm just going to do me. And I said to the wasp, you just do you. And I just continued my circuit. And I noticed at some point, I didn't even know where the wasp was. It just went away because I didn't look for it. I just said to myself, this is not going to be a thing. And I don't know if the wasp was still there or not, but I didn't care. I didn't care. So I just stayed in the water. I stayed in the flow. And of course, as I'm going around and around, my journey gets easier and easier because I'm in the wake. I'm in the flow. I'm just going around. And the water's carrying me, and I have to be careful because I'm trying to get a workout in that I'm just not letting the water carry me. I want to do the running in the water because the tendency is to just let the water do it, let the momentum do it, and then I lose some of my workout. So I have to focus on what I'm doing, but I notice that the wake is still there. And I've got a little whirlpool going in the pool, a little whirlpool, and it's just easier and easier to go around. And the leaves come up, and some of them stay down, and some of them carry with me. And then when I switch, it's always harder to go against the flow, and I have to fight harder. And sometimes, most of the time, I'm doing something with my arms. I'm mimicking a breaststroke or something like that, or going like this, going through the water. But I have to fight harder to go against the flow. And it's always a struggle, and I have to breathe more deeply. And then I notice stuff really starts to come up. The debris in the pool is just all over the place until I get in the flow, and I'm in that rhythm, and then they come with me. They come with me. And stuff may come up, and automatically I might catch something in my hand very, very easily, or it comes up and I can just pluck it up and I put it on the side of the pool, because I like taking them out one by one, and I put them in a neat little pile on the side of the pool. And then when I get out, I take all those leaves I've collected and I put them away in this pot that I have. So it occurred to me that when we're in the flow of life, our baggage, our stuff, the things that come up, do the exact same thing those leaves do, if we're in the flow. If you're in the flow. So what I've noticed is when I do what I'm called to do, when I'm doing me, do you boo, as they say, when I'm doing me, and I'm focused on what I believe I'm called to do in this world, at the right time, at the right place, whatever it is I need to deal with from my past or from my current life will come up easily. I deal with it, I heal it, and I put it away. The things I don't need to mess with, the things that I'm not ready for, stay removed from me. Those are the leaves that stay on the bottom of the pool and don't come up. So I did about 20 minutes yesterday morning, and I decided last night I was going to go in again and do a little bit more time. And what I noticed is this time, when I went in a second time and I got in that flow, some of the leaves that were left the first time then started to rise. And so by the time I got done last night, there were even less leaves in the pool, because I could easily pick them up because they presented themselves at the right time. No fight. No mess, no muss, no struggle. It came around, I easily took it, and I put it down, and I put it away. The leaves that I could not catch or did not come into my wake easily, I just let them go, and when I came back around, sometimes then they would present themselves, which often happens with our stuff. Maybe we're not ready to deal with something. Maybe it's not time to deal with something. But if you just keep doing what you were called to do, it will present itself at the right time. When you are ready for it, when you are mentally ready for it, when you are emotionally ready for it, when your spirit is ready for it. But you got to be in the flow. You got to be in the flow. You got to be in the flow. You got to keep the wasp and the other distractions out of your mind. They're not for you unless they come to you. Often we want to mess around with the stuff that comes around us, or the stuff we hear about, or the stuff others are trying to hand us that isn't ours to do. And we have to know what is ours to do so you can say, that's not mine. You handle that. That's yours. I have something else to do right now. It's really freeing when you can look at somebody and say, that is not mine to do. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Not my circus, not my monkeys. So the stuff comes up. But it comes up when we're ready for it. And if you're in the flow, you trust that you are ready for it, even if it comes up and you go, I'm not sure. Don't want to do this now. Do we ever want to do it now? No. No. Life doesn't care what we feel like doing or having. Life doesn't care what we feel like we're ready for. Life happens. But if we trust that the flow is here for us, and that once we get in the flow, that we are guided and protected, as Pete read to us, then we're good. You just stay in the flow. Stay in the flow. Stay in the flow. Let the stuff circulate. If you want to ignore it, you can ignore it, but it's going to come right back up. It's going to come back to you. It's going to come back. It always does. It always does. The subconscious mind is a fascinating thing because it will hide things from you until you are ready for it. It happens a lot with early childhood trauma. And even as adults, if we go through something really traumatic and your psyche, your spirit knows you're not ready for it, you probably won't remember it until the time is right and it comes up. That happened to me in my life. I remembered my child sex abuse when I was in therapy with a wonderful therapist who was helping me through something that happened as an adult. It came up in a session with her. And it surprised me and it surprised her. But because she was skilled, she just paused and she said, "Say that again. What did you just say?" And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, never said that out loud." And I told her what had happened to me as a child. Had no idea that was sitting there until it was ready, till I was ready, till the time was ready, until the resource, till the right therapist was sitting right in front of me. It didn't happen before I got to her. I didn't know about it before I got to her. It happened when she was sitting in front of me, and there was somebody skilled and ready to help me with it. That's how wonderful our brains are, our minds are. That's how wonderful the universe is. We are always protected and guided and directed. But you got to be in the flow. You got to be in the flow. You got to know you're in the flow. So how do you get in the flow? How do you get in the flow? Practice prayer and meditation. Practice prayer and meditation. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. How do you get to peace? How do you get to the flow? Practice, practice, practice. Practice prayer and meditation so that you know what the flow feels like. Because if you don't practice, you don't know you're in the flow. You don't even know there's a flow. You're just out there running around with the wasp, flinging more water around, wondering what's coming up in front of you. Thinking there's something for you to struggle with, something you got to do. You're dealing with other people's stuff, something that's not even yours to deal with. Half the time you're distracting yourself because you don't know what's coming up or why it's coming up. You don't want it to come up. You don't feel like doing that. You don't want to heal. You don't trust. You think, "Oh, why is this happening to me? Oh my God, life is just kicking me in the rear. Why me? Why me? Why me?" You're not in the flow. You're not in the flow. If you're fighting, you're not in the flow. Even if there's a challenge in front of you, if you're in the flow, yeah, you're going to be uncomfortable. And yet, you will have this knowledge. You'll know that you know that you know that you know. I haven't said that in a long time. You'll know that you know that you know that you know that everything's okay. And that you are good. Yeah, it's rough right now, you may say. Yeah, I'm hurting right now, you may say. Yes, I'm scared right now. No, I don't know what's going to happen next. No, I don't know why they did that to me. I don't know why everything's crashing in right now. But I know that there's something guiding, directing me all the time. And all I got to do is plug in. Plug in. So you leave the wasp alone, leave the distractions alone, you leave people alone who are talking to you about what you ought to do, And you better do this, you better do that. And seek your own counsel, because your own counsel is divine wisdom. Your own counsel is the Lord and Creator, who is always speaking to you if you will only listen.
Yes, yes.
As you're going through the stuff, there's something whispering in your ear saying, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. We got this. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Fear not. Fear not. I think it's something like 300. I know it's close to the number of days in a year that fear not is not in the Bible. Like 300 sometimes. Fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. I am with you always. I am with you always. I am with you always. You got to get in the flow. You got to listen. And then when you hear, you got to do or not do. I've confessed before, half the time my work is done not do. Sit down, be quiet. Let me work. Sometimes Spirit says, let me work. Let me work. I got a billion things working here. I got to shift things in the universe because you are in need right now. I'm doing something here, so just sit and be quiet. Stay in the flow, stay in the water, do your circuit. Just stay there, stay there. I'm working around, I'm bringing up the stuff that has to come, whatever it is. People, resources, I don't know. A song you need to hear, a movie you need to watch. A bird that comes to your window. Your cat or your dog comes up and sits at your feet. Or nuzzles you. Your spouse may come up and give you a hug. A friend may call. Maybe a billboard on the road. Spirit has everything at its disposal to serve you at all times. You just got to stay in the flow so that you recognize, and you say, oh, that billboard's for me, that billboard's for me. Got that, got that. Oh, listen to the lyrics of that song. I'm hearing that song for the third time today. What is that song? What are those lyrics? And right when you pay attention, you'll hear the 3 lines you need to hear. You may not listen to the rest of the song, but you'll hear those 3 lines you need to hear. And you'll take a deep breath and say, oh, I'm good. Got it, heard it, thank you. But if you're sitting in the car cussing at the other people driving around you, you don't hear the song. You don't hear the song. Because you're fighting and complaining about what's happening in life.
Right.
Why me? Why me? Why me? Spirit's always whispering or bringing things. And sometimes the message comes again, and we still don't see it. And sometimes it comes again, and you still don't see it. Because you're not in the flow. Stay in the flow. Stay in the flow. Practice so you know when you're in the flow. Practice when things are good so that when you get on the skids, when you hit the speed bumps, when you run into those hurdles, when the brick wall shows up out of nowhere, that you just say, oh, let me go around the brick wall.
That's right.
Just a speed bump. Just a speed bump. I got this. Because there's something guiding and directing me. Divine presence is always here for me. For me. And the operative word is always, 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 always. I don't know, that was 7 words. Always is the operative word. Always. Always. So no matter what it is you're going through, tune in. Get quiet. Calm your mind. If your mind won't be quiet, listen to something that quiets your mind, or start paying attention to your breath. Sit in absolute quiet. And maybe you have to say out loud, speak to me, please. I'm ready to hear. I'm ready to hear. And just like Pete read, you are never failed. If you ask, you always get an answer. You always get an answer. You always get an answer that will bring you peace, that will allow you to rest, that will help you relax and know that all is good. Always. Let's take this in a meditation. So just relax. I know some of you walked in here with something that's plaguing your mind, that's plaguing your heart. I want you to place it in front of you. You have nothing to fear. Fear not. Everything that you need to handle this situation is within you. Tune in. Ask, what is mine to do, if anything? And if you hear nothing, do nothing. Just trust that you are guided and directed. No matter what it is, you have the wherewithal to deal with it, to see it, to heal from it, to heal through it. No matter what it is, my friends. Something at work, a relationship, an overwhelming schedule, too many things pulling at you. A family situation that is overwhelming, that is not only mentally challenging, but emotionally challenging. Perhaps you're grieving. Perhaps you feel lost. Perhaps you're confused, conflicted. Peace resides within you. The answers reside within you. divine presence that is love is guiding you to peace, to the perfect solution that will speak to your heart. To the very thing that will give you joy, that will lift you up. To the very thing that will give you rest, strength, and power for the journey. And it will speak to you in ways that you understand and recognize. That maybe no one else will understand, but that doesn't matter. Creator knit you together in your mother's womb, knows every centimeter of you. Spirit is aware of your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, your every need, your every desire, your every prayer. And all the answers are there. Spirit says, come to me and I will give you rest. Come to me and I will give you rest. Bring your weary heart, your weary mind, your tired body. Your longing soul. Fear not. Fear not. All is good. All is good. So whatever situation it is that you have to deal with, let's look at it and pronounce it all good, knowing that you have everything you need to walk this path, and that peace awaits you opening your arms to it. Just breathe, let it go. Let your emotion run through you. It's all good. It's all good. It is all good. And so it is, and so it shall be.